I'm recording, yes, the video. Yes, I have recording. I will check. Yes, I will have recording. Dimitrios, hello again. We are talking about
Again,
matrices. Do you know how to deal with matrices? How to summarize it, subtract?
yeah, I do.
Okay, great. That's perfect. So when we want to summarize matrices, we just summarize elements. Yes, 3 to 5, 3 to 2, 5, 5 minus 3, 2. And everything will be grade 5. If you have one matrix or one, it's actually it's one-dimensional matrix, it's a vector. Yes, and we will work with vectors a lot. So when we have different sizes of our matrices, it's impossible to do this operation. Yes, because sizes are different. You need to control this in MATLAB because if you try to operate with matrices that has different sizes or sizes that you can't uh, compare, anyway, you will see the error. Yes, and you need to check your variable using the buffer. We may multiply our matrix to volume. Yes, we may also multiply element by element using dot before operation. For example, we have one matrix, square matrix, and we want to multiply it into a vector. For example, what will we have? Could you help me? Yes. What result we will have here? 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. One matrix multiplied by multiplication. The result. Yeah. Put it. Square matrix with all twos. How did you obtain it? Just explain it, guys. Yes.
And then this yields the first element, which is
Yes. So we multiply row by column.
yeah.
Yes, and summarize results of multiplication. We will need to do these operations in our application, so it's a really popular. Thank you. And you need to understand what is it because it's we have. Would you make a photo? We will prepare photo for you and send now. In our cases, we will deal with linear transformation where we have several features x0, x1, x2, x3, and so on, and coefficients for these x's b1, b2, and so on. We need to multiply x0 to b0. Yes, and then we have table with objects in rows and feature first in columns. You want to transform it using linear transformation element to coefficient. We have vector of coefficients and using this matrix multiplication to calculate the result. Okay. About tasks in data analysis. There are three main tasks, classification, regression, and prediction. Or classification, regression, and clusterization or clusterizing. Clusterizing. Clusters, yes. When you want to compare objects and divide them into closed groups where objects in one group close to each other and far away from other groups. And it's also to machine learning tasks to supervised and unsupervised learning. The first task is regression. Regression. You have values. And you want to find dependence between x and y. To construct, for example, line, which predicts some results for unknown x. Will be y prediction. You have real observations. I don't know. It can be, of course, not only one x, but multi-dimensional space. And you need to find coefficients for this line because prediction is some years, some shift, plus some coefficient multiplied by x. And you may predict value. How do you find these coefficients? It's optimization problem. You take your observations, do some operations, do some magic. Actually, you find the minimum line which lies between this value and returns minimal errors. And using this line in future, you may predict, I don't know, level of the sugar level, and you may recommend get some dose of insulin with information about weight, activity, and dinner. I don't know. Yes, and using number of calories and fats and carbons which this patient adds. This evening, you may predict level in the blood and recommend to take some drugs in order to decrease this level. For example, this system. Расскажи немножко про. This is Evgeny Kostuzorov. It's my colleague. I'm just describing regression problem and about blood pressure, sugar level in the blood. You are using regression to predict this level for pregnant women. Yes, could you say some words about it?
Well, basically, because when you start to evaluate typical influence, it's always good to start with linear regression, because in this model you can really see which input variables affect your output variable clearly. But the problem is that it's not so many relation between inner variables here, and this is why I would not use this kind of simple models for real-world tests. What I use now, I use for this task when I need to predict a number, which is a blood glucose level, I utilize the more complex models like regression trees and multiple regression trees and gradually boosting trees. But when I started to develop this model, I started with linear regression because I really needed to see which variables really mean something. And when you need to answer this question, it is always good to start with this kind of model because you really see which coefficients like B0, B1, and so on, how big are they? And what is the most important, which of them have pluses and which of them have minuses. So how they affect your output variable. So this is why we always tend to start from simple models like this when we deal with regression testing. But we really use this on the daily basis. I mean, in the hospital, you can utilize this kind of systems and they work pretty well. So this is where we use this.
So you have classes within you later. It's one field of analysis. You need to predict something. In other tasks, you need to divide objects into some groups, but you don't know and nothing about these objects. For example, you have also two-dimensional feature space. You have observations. В моем столе там то ли на столе моем, то ли верхний ящик. So we have observations, but we know on the X and Y. We don't know class, for example. It's really popular when you construct some analysis system for your website because if some person comes to your website to buy something, you may target products for him. If it's man or woman or child, you may prepare specific sale for men. I don't know, electrical instruments for home, or for young women. You may prepare cosmetic and something like this. You need to clusterize your visitors and prepare specific sale, for example. And also all this field of data analysis now so popular because it gives you money for your business. If it allows you to get more money from your sites, because your site be clever and it's really more comfortable for your visitors. It gives you a lot of profit, and you take more data analytic researchers. You want to pay to your department of data science because it provides you money. That's why it's so popular now, because it gives you profit in business. It's like a small mark. So, how to divide these groups? How to explain distances between these groups? We may see using our eyes that actually we have some group here, and here. Yes, but of course it should be explained using mathematics and some formalization. What does it mean? That objects are close to each other. It's some distance, yes. And actually, we may measure distance using several measurement techniques. The most popular is like Euclidean distance, yes? Just calculate like, using Pythagoras theorem, yes? So 0.1, 0.2, this is A, this is B, yes? It's still the square root from squares. Euclidean distance. But we may also use only a distance A plus B. It's like in New York City, you have streets and avenues that are perpendicular, and you could not cross your distance. Only you may go only using perpendicular directors. Yes, and also there are several measurements techniques to calculate distance. Okay, we have different approaches to measure distance. We may different approaches for different number of observations, because when we have a lot of observation and we need to calculate measurement distance between me and thousands of other points, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's critical, and we need to optimize calculations of distance. The next step to compare distances, to find the closest one, to find the farthest one, and calculate, I don't know, density of the clusters. Yes, because if cluster is not really has low density, it means maybe we should divide it into two clusters with higher densities and something like that. So there are a lot of clusterization algorithms. And we will talk about these problems in our practical task. We will also have, I want you to prepare reports about several themes. They will be connected with the cluster analysis and with classification problems. And we will just look to this problem closely. So be ready to prepare reports. I will send your themes and date later. Okay. And the next, the third task, the third problem is classification. When we know classes, in this case, we have class labels in our training set, process versus surface. And we have some new input data, I don't know, here we have new data, and we need to classify new object to which class it belongs to. Which class it belongs to, yeah? So first, I think that is, you see that is the best result, yes? But we need to measure also distances or something like this between this object and objects from our original classes. This is a classification problem. Find the class for new input object with unknown classes using previously known observations, previously detected classes. And we will talk about algorithms for classification a little bit more than for clusterization and regression. So classification will be the first focus of our discussion. Okay. That's some introduction to our discipline, brief review of what we will do and why do we need it in our area of biomedical research. I hope that it will be helpful for you, and I want you to be active students and ask questions if you don't know how to deal with some problem. You may write me to email, and we will work with you here offline and online. But I think that we will transfer our classes. I think the practical classes and lab works we may transfer to web, because you will work with your computer. Do you have MATLAB? Do you have laptops? Sorry with that. Yes? You have your computers. You need to install MATLAB, and we will do some lessons in Zoom, because we will see your screen, I will see your screen, you will see mine, and it will be really more comfortable, because here showing you programming is not very great, because our online students will be off from this screen sharing, so it will be better to do it for you also on Zoom. I will look to our timetable. Okay, we have lecture and practice today. Do you have other classes after these two? So that's great. And we have also next week lab work, to practical and lab work. Okay. And what about next week? Because you have class with me in 10 and 11:30, and so you have two classes next week. Oh no, not you. Yes, yes.
Basically, today you're stuck with us.
Oh,
We have
every week.
three lectures.
Uh-huh.
First week they start 11:35, and the second week they start 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And they are the same.
Yes. So you have no. This okay. I just want you to maybe next week we have two classes, practical and lecture. We may do it online in Zoom, so you don't need to go to university. Yes, and you may stay home, and we will start at 10 in the morning and do some exercises. We will look what do we have in our course project, and continue working online. So, and we will meet with you here once at 2 weeks. Yes. And I think that it will be more comfortable. If you have any questions, you may ask it here, or write me to email, and then it will be okay. Yes, it's very comfortable for you. So, Dimitrios, next week we all be online. So, because we have practical task, practical class and lab work, and we may just discuss it in Zoom. It's normal, and for you, it will be also more comfortable, because I will share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Because yeah, that's right. I just installed MATLAB on my laptop, so yeah, it will be very helpful.
Great. Do you have lessons?
Kind of. Don't ask, please.
For students of our university, you have free access to MATLAB, free key lessons. You need to write Julia Babrova, and she helps you.
Write to who?
Julia Babrova.
Okay. And she can give me a free license?
Yes. You may start
free
trial now, just to start working with MATLAB. But MATLAB will be free for you during our education. That's great.
Okay, sorry, may I ask which version of MATLAB you're using? Because then I can have the same one. I don't know if there are different features.
It doesn't matter. It's better to use last version of MATLAB, but actually I'm using not the last version. I think that I'm using 19B. Maybe in last version there are some changes.
Okay, I'm using 2015A. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be a problem though.
Okay, actually it doesn't matter for our lab works. Everything will be good.
Okay.
Because it doesn't depend. So, Dimitrios, task for you. You have books from email, yes, in the attachment.
Yeah, I downloaded them.
So, the first PDF file, MATLAB primer in 4 hours with practical examples. This is first a brief introduction to MATLAB. now I want you to read the first. You may say that first exercise just show you the workspace of this.
Read the first first MATLAB exercise. Yeah. Okay.
The second one show you how to work with matrices. I just looked at vectors, the Witten matrix. 1 moment. And number 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, exercises. Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Sure. Exercise 1 to 3.
Go through this exercise.
Of course.
If you have any questions, just write me. And after that, write about your results, maybe some difficulties. And if everything okay, say I'm okay. You don't need to prepare a report.
Okay.
Because I believe you that you give me true information about your results. And as for exercises, it's only for you because it helps you to get some basic skills in MATLAB. So I don't.
Okay, and this is for next week, right?
This is for this class because in accordance with our timetable.
Yeah, but for next week.
For this week. Today we have 2 classes.
No, I mean.
So we have.
Okay.
We have 1 lecture and 1 practical class, 1 practice. Yes.
No, I mean, when should I have read the exercises, studied the exercises? Until when?
Now. And
okay.
time. No, let's select Sunday, before Sunday.
Okay.
So nice to meet you. I will try to upload these videos to YouTube and share the link